More than 5 million years ago, in the frozen fields of the north, a giant with thick fur and twisted tusks began its journey to domination. The mammoth, from the frozen fields at the end of the world, where the mammoth, a symbol of strength and time, once ruled the earth, to the scorched grasslands of Africa today, a bloodline continues to flow. The last descendant of the mammoth inherits not only its great stature, but also its centuries-old memory, human emotions, and a protective instinct that can tear apart the desert if threatened. This is not just a story about animals. This is the truth about a world where kindness and cruelty coexist in the form of a silent giant. This is the truth of elephants, a story about memory, strength, and survival. In northern Botswana, where the Chobe River winds like a silver ribbon through the arid savanna, elephants appear like giant ghosts in the dusty sunlight. They do not hurry. They do not roar. Each step is slow, but carries an ancient history, the memories of their ancestors, and the survival instinct of those who live on the border between life and death. This land was once fertile, but as the dry season drags on, everything changes. The water recedes, the grass dies, and the weaker ones are left. Only the elephants are still moving, as if survival is the only thing left for them. This is where every journey begins, and also where the truth of elephants gradually reveals itself. Every year, when the dry season descends on the African savanna, thousands of elephants set out. There are no maps, no navigational aids, but every step is precise because memory is the only compass that guides the herd. The matriarch is not only the leader, but also the living memory of the entire family. She remembers where it rained, the secret watering holes hidden deep in the bush, and the areas where the herd has suffered losses. Memory is the greatest treasure that elephants possess. The elephant's brain weighs up to 5 kilograms, the largest of any land animal, and the part related to memory and emotions is especially developed. Their memory is not only used to find their way, it also stores sadness, attachment, and warnings for future generations. When an elephant is lost in a certain area, the remaining elephants tend to avoid that area for many years, as if they have never forgotten what happened. We often think of intelligence as coming from words, from the ability to solve problems or make tools. But for elephants, intelligence lies in quiet remembering. And that is also the reason why they survive in a nature that changes every day. During migration, when the savanna becomes barren and harsh, the herd does not always move smoothly. Small and weak individuals often slow down. Sometimes a calf stumbles into soft mud where a water hole once dried up, leaving only a muddy trap from which it cannot escape. But the herd does not abandon it. They stop, surround the individual, use their trunks and feet to help it stand, even dig in the ground to find the last bit of moisture. And in the most desperate situations, they may even approach humans as an act of distress. Although they cannot say anything, by looking at them, by approaching them without threatening, they seem to be sending a message. Please help. Along the dry journey, the elephants are not alone. There are always silent shadows following. Some carnivores patiently and silently wait for the slow-moving individual, the one who strays from the formation. They know adult elephants are too big to take risks, but baby elephants are not. Along the dry journey, the elephants are not alone. There are always silent shadows following. Some carnivores patiently and silently wait for the slow-moving individual, the one who strays from the formation. They know adult elephants are too big to take risks, but baby elephants are not. The smell of sweat and mud in the air was the silent signal the lions had been waiting for. From behind a clump of acacia bushes, 5 lionesses broke away from the group. They did not run straight. They circled around behind the elephants. Ahead, the herd was still moving, slow, steady, but unaware of the storm approaching from behind. Then they charged, like a dry wind sweeping through the grass. A calf at the back of the herd, slower than the others, was suddenly approached. The sound of feet pounding the ground. The mother turned her head. The deep warning echoed like suppressed thunder. But it was too late. The lion rushed in, clutching. The others surrounded. The calf cried loudly. A calf at the back of the herd, slower than the others, was suddenly approached. The sound of feet pounding the ground. The mother turned her head. The deep warning echoed like suppressed thunder. But it was too late. The lion rushed in, clutching. The others surrounded. The calf cried loudly. No slow, no hesitation. A charge enough to make the ground shake beneath your feet. The lion spreads out. Lions are not the only danger, and the edge of the bush is not the most dangerous place. Up ahead is the river. It seems like a destination, a place to revive after a dry journey. But for the elephants, those sparkling water stains hide an even more unpredictable danger. Beneath the calm waters, quieter creatures wait. No chase, no pursuit. They just wait for the right moment. The surface of the water seemed calm, but underneath, the undercurrent was still swirling like an invisible arm waiting to pull everything under. The herd began to cross slowly, cautiously. The larger individuals kept their balance, but in the middle of the stream, a baby elephant swayed. It was smaller, lighter, and weaker after the long journey. A huge mass of muscle surged up from the depths. The previously invisible crocodile had been waiting for this moment. Its jaws closed around the calf's hind leg. The water spread widely, and the calf's cry echoed through the empty space. But after all, after the crocodile in the water, after the lion in the grass, after every breathless confrontation between instinct and survival. Not the one with the claws, not the one who hunts in the night, but the one who seems the most harmless, the quietest. That enemy never needed chasing, never needed ambushing, never needed a roar. Can you guess who the real enemy of elephants is? That enemy is us. Humans are sometimes not evil, but forgetful. Elephants are gentle animals. They do not hunt. They do not attack. They do not demand. For thousands of years, they have lived alongside humans in the forests, in the grasslands, where villages are built. They have learned to recognize the voices of familiar people, to remember the faces that have helped them, and to approach them not to attack, but to trust. There are elephants that are cared for by humans, and even after a decade, they still come back just to touch their old hands with their trunks. But then, what did humans do? We opened fire, not in self-defense, but for a pair of white tusks. We hunted elephants, not because we needed them, but because we wanted them, to trade, to sell, to display. According to estimates from conservation organizations, every year about 20,000 wild elephants disappear from the wild, mostly due to the illegal ivory trade. That means every day, dozens of individuals are no longer present in the forests, grasslands, or lands where their ancestors lived for centuries. But not all humans are a threat, and not all stories end in regret. There are places where elephants and humans still live side by side, in quiet, almost sacred respect. But if we can still hear a distant trumpet, if we can still see a trunk rising from the grass, if a child can still say elephant with a bright eye, then perhaps it is not too late. There is still time, if we choose to remember, if we choose to preserve, not just one species, but the memory of this planet. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you believe elephants deserve to survive, please leave a like and share this film with more people. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can continue to listen to the voices of nature that are gradually becoming silent.